What's up guys, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching me, hi, my name is Janine and I upload new videos on Mondays. For today's video, I'm wanting to do a top 10 books that I would recommend to read in 2021 and also kind of my 2021 reading list. These books are all kind of more in the self-help type category. There are 3 that I've already read. There's a couple here that I've already started, and then there's a bunch that I have not read yet but I plan on reading for 2021. All fall under the same kind of like help yourself, take care of yourself type genre. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into it. The first book that I'm going to recommend is one that I'm currently reading. It's called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff by Richard Carlson. This book is basically about like not letting the little things day to day get you down in different ways that you can kind of work through things. The part that I'm on right now is number 15, which is be the first one to act loving or reach out. And then I'll give a little example and how you can do it. Go ahead and read the back up for you guys. It says, turn your melodrama into melodrama. Does your life seem to have many ups and downs as a soap opera? Then let this little book that spent 100 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list show you how to stop blowing things out of proportion, stop worrying about things that might happen but probably won't, stop obsessing over things you can't change and things that just don't matter, and start living. I would highly recommend this book. I'm loving it so far and I'm excited to finish this one. And so the next book that I have is Atomic Habits. I am absolutely loving this book so far. I have like all these little tabs on the side of it, and this is by James Clear. It's basically a step-by-step instruction on how to form better habits and keep habits throughout the rest of your life. I have a notebook that I'll go through when I'm reading it, and I'll think, okay, well, this is how I can apply it to my own life. And he gives you links. You can print stuff out online if you have habits that you want to get rid of, if you have habits that you're trying to implement, and the most effective ways to do that and still progressively make a difference in your life, even if it's just a super small one. One of my favorite parts of the book is about the 1% rule. If you just improve one thing that you're doing by 1%, that will slowly increase and you'll make a huge difference in your life, even though you only change something by 1%. You don't have to make a huge drastic change in your life to actually see that change implemented. You just have to keep doing it for a long time. And for all of these books, if you guys have the app Goodreads, you can add me to it. I'll put like my link down below and you can add me on there, and I'm gonna try to update on there like as I go about books when I finish them. And if you guys pick up any of these books, totally leave a comment down below. Message me. All of my socials are down in the description box as well, so you can add me on there and let me know if you guys are gonna read any of these, and we can totally like talk about the different books and how it's helping us. Like, I'm so down. So the next book is This Book Will Make You Kinder, an empathy handbook. I have not started this one yet, but I'm very excited to. I actually picked this up while I was on leave in Florida because I went to a Barnes & Noble and I saw it and it really stood out to me. It was probably the yellow cover. It says, from the internet's most wholesome political cartoonist, a warmly illustrated and thoughtful examination of empathy and the necessity of being much kinder. The kindness we owe one another goes far beyond the everyday gestures of feeding someone else's parking meter, although it's important not to downplay those small acts. Kindness can also mean much more. In this timely, insightful guide, Henry James Garrett lays out the case for developing a strong, courageous, moral kindness, one that will help you fight cruelty and make the world a more empathetic place. So, how could a book possibly make you kinder? It would need to answer 2 questions. Why are you kind at all? And why aren't you kinder? I'm super excited to read this. That's like one of the big things that I really try to implement in my everyday. I'm very optimistic and like try to spread positivity to everyone, and even if I'm in a bad mood, I try not to like push that onto other people. And since it's so hard to get me into a bad mood or make me not like someone, once I do reach that point, it's very hard to pull myself back out of that and to not like act upon being in a bad mood, if that makes sense. And so I feel like this book would help with that. The next book is Flow, and this book was actually recommended by a YouTuber that I watch, Kaylin Nicholson. I'll just read off the back of it. So, during flow, people typically experience deep enjoyment, creativity, and a total involvement with life. In this new edition, the groundbreaking classic work The author demonstrates the way this positive state can be controlled, not just left to chance. If you guys saw the movie Soul, whenever they're like in the zone, doing whatever like they love and being in the zone and in the moment, this book is basically how to realize when you're in the moment and in a flow of doing something, how you can better implement that into different parts of your life, because living in the moment is really important and not living in the past or in the future, or being anxious about the future, sad about the past, stuff like that. And if you're actually living in the moment and in your flow, then you can be more productive while still being able to enjoy everything that you're doing, basically. And so I'm very excited to read this. The next book is Wherever You Go, There You Are, Mindfulness, Meditation, in Everyday Life. This one I'll just read a little excerpt because I also have not read this one yet. Mindfulness is considered the heart of Buddhist meditation, but its essence is universal and of deep practical benefit to all. In essence, mindfulness is wakefulness. Our minds are such that we are often more asleep than awake to the unique beauty and possibilities of each present moment as it unfolds. While it is in the nature of our mind to go on autopilot and actually lose touch with the one time we actually have to live, grow, feel, learn, love, give shape to things, to heal, our mind also holds the deep innate capacity to help us awaken to our moments and use them to our advantage for others, for ourselves, and for the world we inhabit. Just as a garden requires being attended to, we hope to cultivate flowers and not have it be overrun by weeds. Mindfulness also requires regular cultivating. We call the cultivation of our own mind to bring it wakefulness meditation. The beauty of it is to carry this garden with us wherever we go, wherever we are, whenever we remember. It is outside of time as well as in it. In this book, Jon Kabat-Zinn maps out a simple path for cultivating mindfulness in one's own life. It speaks both to those coming to meditation for the first time and to long-time practitioners, anyone who cares deeply about reclaiming the richness of his or her moments. So this one I'm really excited to read. I feel like throughout 2020, one big thing I was trying to do a lot was meditate. And it's so hard for me to turn my mind off and just set aside the time to sit and meditate. But you'll still get the same benefits of just mindful living as meditation. So there's active meditation, and then there's sitting actually like meditating and being with your thoughts, and then there's trying to focus on your breathing and not thinking anything, or there's just sitting there and letting all of your thoughts come. And then there's active meditation. One that I really notice in myself is like when I'm driving and I'm listening to like playlists that I really like, then I just get lost in the moment, lost in the song, and all I'm thinking about is like the road, how beautiful it is, looking at the trees, looking at the skyline, listening to the music, and I'm just so in the moment that I forget that I'm going anywhere. That's kind of what this book is gonna explain how to do with like other things. I feel like that's really gonna help me so I can still have like that mindfulness added to my life without feeling like I have to sit down and like because the thought of that, I don't want to do that. No, the thing is I would love to be able to do that, but process of getting to a point where I can sit there, it's just gonna be so much work. So baby steps. The next book I'm gonna recommend, and that's on my list to read, is The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael A. Singer. This one says, who are you really? What would it be like to be free from limitations and soar beyond your boundaries? What can you do each day to find this kind of inner peace and freedom? The Untethered Soul offers a simple, profoundly intuitive answer to these questions. Whether this is your first exploration of inner space or you've devoted your life to the inward journey, this book will transform your relationship with yourself and the world around you. And I feel like that's a great explanation of what this book is going to be, and I'm really excited. This one is also smaller than the rest of them, so I feel like it'll be a pretty light read, but it's going to be a really in-depth read. A lot of this stuff is going to be something that you really need to sit with, and what I like to do, especially with books like these, I like to have a notebook next to me. I can go in and write it out and kind of journal while reading, so you can better implement the stuff that you're learning. With a lot of these books back here, they're just fiction or fantasy or whatever, and so whenever you're reading it, you just get lost in the pages. A lot of times with books like these, it'll relate to your life in some way, and the best thing to do with that information is to write it down, and then you have the ability to go back and implement that stuff into your life. And if you're just going into your day and trying to think of something like a mantra you want to have for the day or an idea you want to focus on that day, you can go back to your notes and think, oh, I want to do this one thing today, which you can also pair with the atomic habits and picking which habits you want to do when and all that kind of stuff. And you can take habits that you want to learn from these other books and implement them using atomic habits. It all comes full circle. And then the last one I have physically here is Sacred Powers, the 5 Secrets to Awakening Transformation. This one is, have you ever found yourself at a crossroads, unaware of which way to turn, and maybe you reached a fork in the road and felt overwhelmed by the choices before you? Or perhaps you felt stuck, held back by the fear of making the wrong decision, with one foot rooted firmly in the past and the other dangling into the unknown. But there is a pathway out of your challenges and into a space of freedom, happiness, and lasting fulfillment. For thousands of years, divine solutions have been whispered directly into the hearts of priests, shamans, wizards, medicine women, and healers. In Sacred Powers, internationally renowned meditation master David G. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, but David G. reveals the deepest secrets of the timeless wisdom and distills their essence into 5 divine principles of the universe. The divine principle of 1, awareness, rebirth, infinite flow, and inner fire. Each step of the path will unfold eternal truths to guide you on a lifelong journey of clarity and connection, expansion and abundance, love and happiness, courage and confidence, passion and purpose. This moment is a defining moment. This is the moment to awaken your sacred powers, and this is the time to manifest your dream life. There's like a quiz type thing at the end where you figure out what your sacred power is, and there's a bunch of different ones. The YouTuber that I watched that recommended this, hers was like, she took the whole thing and hers was trust. And so she used that as kind of like the word for her year, to trust herself more, trust life more. And so you can kind of figure out what your sacred power is and how to implement that like into your life. And so the last 3 books I want to recommend to you guys, I'm just gonna put them all up on the screen at the same time, but I have talked about these in past videos before, so I don't want to go too in depth. But the book F Yourself, Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, and You Are a Badass. Amazing books. Read them. I've read them. I've read a couple of them multiple times. They are just absolutely amazing. I would recommend reading any of those 3 books before reading any of these ones that I got, because it'll kind of get you into momentum of self-help, caring about yourself, and how to get into that proper mindset. And then you can dig deeper into how to implement that stuff with atomic habits. You can dig deeper into, okay, well, what are like my issues, what are not my issues with like sweating the small stuff. That's a single chapter in, I believe, You Are a Badass, and I'm pretty sure it's a whole section in The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F. And so it's a whole book here, so you can dig more in depth if that's something that piques your interest in there. These last 3 books that I talked about are going to be very spiritual and honing in on your body and your mind and how it all connects. Getting to that right headspace and right mindset first would be the best way to go. Kind of like mind, body, soul. If you go in that order, it'll be a lot easier to implement stuff into your life. At least that's the way that I found it to be. And so those are 10 books that I would recommend to read in 2021, and some books I'm planning on reading. If you guys want to read any of these, let me know if any of them pique your interest. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, so make sure to give it a like if you did and comment down below letting me know. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye!